Okay, today topic is method deals with arrays. Okay, normally in Java we have three approaches. First approach is basically approach number one. In the approach number one, normally you can store the values by using the variables, right? Okay, store the values by using the variables. Generally, where we have the int a equal to or some time. Okay, we are using some primitive data types, so with that we can initialize the variables. This is the approach number one. Okay, in the approach number two, but here some we have the some disadvantages. What are the disadvantages? It can hold the only one value. Okay, so how to overcome? So for that purpose, where we have the arrays concept, right? That is the approach number two. In the approach number two, so arrays is the container which can hold the multiple values. In case of variables, it can hold only single values. In case of arrays, it can hold the multiple values. For example, here if I want to store the multiple values, I can store like this. For example, int array and the reference variable type new and then int. Here I can mention the size. I can mention the size, some size 5. This is clear. Like it can hold one single value. If you want to store the multiple values, at the time you can go with arrays concept, but here we have here the thing is it can hold the only homogeneous meaning only similar data types it can hold, right? Similar homogeneous. And the next disadvantage is the size is fixed. size is fixed Size is fixed. Okay, these are the two disadvantages, but here you can store the multiple values. Okay, and homogeneous meaning it can hold the, for example, if I want to store the some student details, if I want to store the some student details, at the time I can go with array, and then the reference name you can take anything, student new student, right? Okay, here I can store the values based on the index position, like 0. Here I will store the student details like new student. I can store the values are like 100 comma some Raju. Okay, like this you can store the only student related data only. For example, Raju you written the exam, you can take some English exam. Here you can will take some 80. Okay, the same here index position number one, and index position here you can take some other you can take the some max. Okay, you can store the similar student data only, like if he wrote the exams like 6 exams, you can store the data like this. Are you guys clear with my point? In the arrays approach you can store the only the similar data type only, the similar data type only. So how to overcome this one? So for that purpose, where we have the approach number 3. In the approach number 3, in the approach number 3, so here it is storing only student details, right? If I want to store the multiple objects details, here you can declare with array as the object square braces. You can mention reference variable name new object, and then you can mention the size here. You can mention the size here. If I mention the size is 4, and then what is the difference between the approach 2 and approach 3? Here it can allow only homogeneous, but in this case it can allow heterogeneous. Are you guys clear with my point? It is only homogeneous. Okay, but in case of this it can hold, for example, if you take the student details, employee details, and any number of classes if you take also, by using this object you can store all the data. you can store all the data. But this is the one compared to this one, this is the one advantage, but the size is fixed here also. Okay, so now we are using this concept, and then like last session I have given the assignment, right? So we will discuss that one, right? This is the concept. So by using the approach 3, we will write the program. Okay, simply now I will go to my program, and this is the demo class, right? In the demo class, generally the main method, we will take the main method. Before taking the main method, I will take the main method. This is the main method. So here you can assume we will be having different classes. Student class, and we'll be having the properties like string name, next int id. Okay, I will take one more class, that is employee, class employee. Okay, from here to here, this is the scope of the this one, and here also I will take the properties is uh, st- employee id. So I can mention with string emp id, okay. And the next thing is employee salary. Okay, double emp salary. Okay, these are the properties. These two properties are belong to employee, these two properties are belong to student class. Okay, now what I am doing, I am creating one method. I am creating one method. The data type is array format. Array format. For example, the method name is, I am taking m1 method, and this is the scope of m1. And whenever you are writing the method, you need to follow the syntax. The first syntax is return type. In my case, so I want to store these all the details, and I want to return these all the details. So that's why I am mentioning this data type as the array format. Array format. Array. So I'm mentioning with the name, and then array format, and this data type is the object. This data type is the object. So as of now, object. Okay, object. Why it is throwing the error meaning? We have to return object. As of now is clear. Method name, return type. Return type is the object format. Okay, now my requirement is, I have created two classes. One is the student class, second one is the object. So array main purpose is, will store in the format as a single entity, then we can return. So for storing the single entity, I will create object for the student and this employee. So how will you create the object? New student, and then the student you can store in some reference variable s1 or anything. You can s1 or s, and then here the object is student. Clear? Now similarly for the employee also, okay, I will create new employee, and then the object got created. This object you can store in some reference variable, and this reference variable data type is the employee. As of now is clear? Okay, we can talk. Okay, we'll try with the two classes the same way. If you take the 4 5 classes also, the same process. Now I need to store this. This is the one object, and this is the one object, right? So array is also container which is used to store the multiple objects. Now these two objects I will store in one array. How can I store? Simply I will create the same structure like object, and then array format. Generally I will show you mm, object structure, and then reference variable name. I am taking reference variable name, and here I will store the multiple values. We will store multiple values by using the curly braces, right? Here I am passing s dot e, and then semicolon. Okay, this data type is the object, right? When the method is having the data type, it has to return the same data type. So Now I will mention the return statement, and then here I will mention the ARR. Done. Okay. So if I call this method, this is the which method is this one? This is the instance method. So how can I access? You can create the object and then you can call. If I call this one, it will provide default values. Instead of default values, I will I will initialize with some values. S dot ID equal to, I would like to mention some numbers, some 90 or 80. Okay. Next thing is S dot name equal to some name. Name is Raju. Okay. Name is Raju. And these are the local variables, right? So if you want to, you can call the local variables inside the local method only. So for that, for calling purpose, I am taking the sysout statement, and here I am mentioning s dot id and then s dot name, s dot id, and then concatenation. Here you can mention with s dot name. Okay. Similarly, this one also the same process. The same process. E dot employee ID. Employee ID you can mention with some number like some 70, any number. Okay. And then next thing is employee ID. We will mention the string. Oh, string. Okay. Here we will mention some other name. We will mention some brand. Okay. And then E dot salary. Salary will mention some 50,000. Okay. This is the decimal. You can mention in the form of decimal. Okay. I'm saving this one, and if you want to call this one, you can mention with the sysout statement, and you can copy this one, employee ID, and then you can do the concatenation. Okay. Next thing is you can do with t dot emp salary, salary. Okay. And then you can save this one. This is clear as of now. Is clear. Now this is the, which method is this one? This is the instance method, right? So if you want to call the instance method by using the object only, you can call the instance method. So simply you can create the current class object, simply new demo, and then you can store in some reference variable, and you can call the demo dot the method name. The method name is m1, right? You can call the m1. You can call the m1. But this data type is the object, right? So that's why you can store this entire the data in some array format object. You can mention with object. Okay. Now, so this is the container. This container is having the multiple data. I want to retrieve the data in three ways. Like in the last session, in the loop concepts, we done the loops, right? We can retrieve the data in three ways. One is the for loop, for each loop. Next thing is the toString. With the help of toString also you can retrieve the data. So as simple way, I am going through with for each loop. For each loop, I will take the for, and here the data type is object. The data type is object, and then I will mention for each ARR, and from here to here I will mention sound statement, and then I will mention this. Done. Got it? I'm saving this one, and then simply if I run this program, if you see, you are getting the Raju details, and you are getting the running details. You are getting the running details. Are you guys clear with my point? We are getting the Raju details, and we are getting the running details. Not, you can take number of classes. number of classes also the process is same. You can take the object. So if you use the object, it can hold the homogeneous data. Student is the one type of data, and employee is the one type of data. Okay, with the help of object as object data type, it can allow the homogeneous. It can allow the homogeneous data. Okay, got it. So this is the thing in the last session I had done with the discussion. Okay, the next topic is constructors. So what is the main purpose of the constructors? Those things we'll discuss as of now. So the topic name is the constructors. So first thing is, what is the purpose of the constructor? What is the need of the constructors? Okay, why we are using the constructors in Java? Okay, the main purpose of the constructors, which is used to initialize the instance variables of the current class. Initialize the instance variables of the current class. Instance variables of the current class. Are you guys clear with my point? Normally, you can initialize. How will you initialize? For example, this is the class, right? Public class. For example, this is the demo. Okay, and this is the scope of the class. And within the main method, and you can take the some instance variables. Int a equal to, you can initialize like this also. You can initialize like this is the one way, and this is the one way. Through the constructor also, you can initialize the instance variables. You can initialize the instance variables. Okay. The main purpose of the constructors is, which is used to initialize the instance variables. Okay, next point is constructors is the special method in Java. Constructor is the special method in Java. Constructor is special method in Java. Special method in Java. Okay. Okay. Whenever you are writing the constructor, you need to follow some syntax. What are the syntax? So first I will write the syntax. Syntax for the constructor. So constructor don't have any return type. Okay. So that is the third point. Constructor. So it is similar to method, right? Like in the method, first one is the return type, next one is the name, and third one is the parameter. The same thing here also, but in case of constructor don't have the return type. Constructor don't have the return type. Don't have the return type. That is the first point. And second, name, name. The class name and constructor name should be the same. Class name and constructor name should be same. Constructor name should be same. Should be same. Okay. And third step is parameters, right? So based on the constructors is divided into two types based on the parameters. First one is the zero parameterized constructor, second one is the parameterized constructor. So here the parameters also optional. So based on the requirement, we will take the parameter. Here are parameters also, we have optional parameters optional. Based on the parameters constructors is divided into two types. Parameters constructor is divided into two types. What are the two types? Zero. First one is the zero parameterized constructor. And the second one is parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. Parameterized parameterized constructor. Are you guys clear with my point? Okay. Now the syntax is, for example, we have the class, right? For example, the class is public, the class is demo, and then if you take this one, Mm. It don't have a written type. Okay, no written type. And the second thing is naming convention. Class name and this name is the naming convention. Okay, and this is also similar to method, right? So that's why we need to mention the curly. We need to mention the parenthesis. Okay, this is the scope of constructor. This is the scope of the constructor. This is the syntax for the constructor. Class name and method name should constructor name should be the same, and we need to mention the constructor. Note, the node point is note. What is the node point? If you if you declared with a return type constructor as a return type, if you declared constructor as return type, then it will be treated as a normal method only. If you declared constructor as return type, then it will be treated as normal method only. Normal method only. Okay, only the difference is return type. Okay, this is the node point is if you declare constructor as a return type, then it will be treated as a normal method only. Normal method only. Are you guys clear with my points? Next thing here it is. For example, if you don't take the constructor, by default JVM will provide the default constructor. If you don't provide any constructor, if you don't write any constructor, if you don't write any constructor, by default JVM will provide default constructor. JVM will provide default constructor. Default constructor. Okay. So the below command, you can use below command Java C, the file name. Okay, I'll show you that one. This is the our folder, right? You can take this the demo.java, and then I am deleting all these things. I'm deleting all these things. Okay, this is the normal file, right? So if you see in my class, I am not taking any constructor. If I am not taking any constructor, so simply I will go to this file location, and then you can command first you can compile java c demo dot java, next java p, and then our file name. If you see access specifier, and this is the constructor or not, constructor name and class name should be same or not. This is the constructor. So who will create this constructor? JVM. If I won't create any constructor, by default JVM will create. By default JVM will create. So that is the thing. Remember. So can deals with this one. Okay. So simply this is the command java p command. Okay. If you don't write any constructor, by default JVM will provide the constructor, and you can use below command below command to find out the constructor. To find out constructor. Are you guys clear with this point? So the main purpose is which is initialize which stands variables, and then the thing is these are the points. Now I will show you. I will take one. I would say Eclipse, and this is the normal Java class. I am removing these all the things. Mm, okay. Yeah, this is the scope of the class, and then we are discussing about the constructors, right? So the first thing is constructor have the return type or don't have the return type. It don't have the return type. Okay. Next thing is class name and constructor name should be the same. And then parenthesis. Why I am mentioning parenthesis? This is also special method in Java. That's why I am mentioning the parenthesis. Okay. Okay. Fine. And here I am passing some sysout statement, and here I am passing some dummy message. The demo message is demo. I would say demo constructor is calling. Okay, I am writing some dummy message, right? Okay, this is the method or what? This is the method but constructor. This is the special method. Now we can call this is the constructor. Okay, how will you call the how will you access the constructor? By creating the object. So simply how will you create the object? Main method, and then if you observe here simply f when I am creating the constructor, when I am creating the object, so creating the object meaning calling the constructor. For example, if I save this one, if I execute this one, now I will get this as the output. For example, I am running this one. You can see the result. Demo is calling. Okay, this is also very important part. The point is calling the constructor, uh, creating the object meaning, creating the object meaning, calling the constructor only, calling the constructor only, calling the constructor only. Okay, so no need to call. So whenever you are creating the object, so every object will maintain copy of the instance variables, right? Like whenever you are calling with this one, then creating the object meaning calling the constructor only, calling the constructor only. Are you guys clear with my point? Uh, are you guys clear with my point? Next thing is parameters. Based on the parameters, constructor is divided into two types. So I will take here constructor is divided into two types. Constructor is divided into two types. Okay, first one is parameterized constructor, zero parameterized constructor, zero zero parameterized constructor. Second one is parameterized. Okay, so first we'll go with zero parameterized constructor, and then we'll go with parameterized constructor. Okay, zero parameters constructor means no inputs, no parameters. Okay, and then most of them are confusing. Parameters, what does it mean by parameters? Parameters meaning parameters are the values which will give input to the method, input to the method or constructors. Are you guys clear with my point? Parameters meaning parameters are the values which will give input to the method or constructors. Okay. So zero parameterized constructor, parameterized constructor. Now we'll go with zero parameterized constructor. This is the zero parameterized constructor. If you not pass any parameters, then you can say that is a zero parameterized constructor. Now I am passing some values like int a, okay, comma int b. I am passing the values, and then here I am doing some addition operation like int a equal to a, and then can do some addition of into sum equal to a plus b, sum equal to a plus b, okay. And then here I am taking the sysout statement, and then here I am passing sum, here I am passing sum, okay. And then I'm saving this one, and then this is the, I will call new dot demo. So when I am calling this one, it is throwing the error. Why it is throwing the error? We are passing the parameters. So here we need to pass the arguments, add the argument, add the arguments. So I am adding these arguments. The arguments is I'm adding 20 and then 30, and then I would like to mention some 30, 30 or 40, okay. If I save this one and if I run this one, then you will get the result. You are getting the value. Are you guys clear with my point? Okay. Next here we will be having one more topic, that is the constructor overloading. Constructor overloading. First we will try to discuss with overloading. What does it mean by overloading? Then we'll get the clarity on the, okay. First meaning overloading. It is the process of, it is the process of writing save constructor signature with different parameter, with different parameters is called overloading. Constructor overloading different parameters is called constructor overloading. Are you guys clear with my point? Constructor overloading, okay. Okay, I'll show you. I will take the program. Here I have taken two parameters, right? And then here I will take three parameters. Meaning this method is doing the same operation and this method is doing the same operation with the three parameters. With three parameters. Here I am taking the inter C, and then the same way here I will take inter B C D. Okay. One second. Here you can pass the multiple parameters inter C, okay, C, comma, I can mention inter D, okay. Here you can pass the like some C plus D, 3. Same, the method signature is same, but we are passing the different parameters. So that is called overload. It is the process of writing same constructor signature with different parameters within the file, within the same file, within the same file, within the same file is called constructor overloading. Are you guys clear with my point? It is the process of writing the same constructor signature with the different parameters within the same file is called constructor overloading. The example is, you can take the calculator or any example. The signature is same. Okay. Here I am taking the 2 as the input, and here I am taking 2 as the input. So here I can take other methods also. For example, not only other methods, this is the only method. Okay. This is the thing. Okay. This is called constructor overloading. Taking the same constructor signature, passing different parameters is called method overloading. So this we done with constructors. difference. Constructor, constructor, which is used to initialize the instance variable. Normal method అలా కాదు కదా. నార్మల్ మెథడ్ యూజ్ చేసి కూడా చేయొచ్చు, కానీ మనం జనరల్గా కన్స్ట్రక్టర్స్ యూజ్ చేసి మనం ఇన్స్టాన్స్ వేరియబుల్స్ ని ఇనిషియలైజ్ చేస్తాం. ఆ ఇన్స్టాన్స్ వేరియబుల్స్ ని ఎలా ఇనిషియలైజ్ చేయాలంటే జనరల్లీ I would say how will you initialize the instance variables? For example, I'm taking this is clear. We're done with the zero parameterized and constructor overloading is done. Now we are discussing with how to initialize the instance variables by using the constructor, right? This is the demo class, and this demo class, the class is having the properties are like a string name, okay, and so always the instance variables is recommended with private. So where we have the access modifiers topic, right? So at the topic we will discuss about the private. So as of now we can leave the access specifiers. Okay, and then second one is int. I'm taking ID. So I'm not initialize. How can I initialize these two values? So that's where we have the demo, and then we're passing as the I would like to take the string name, comma, and then int ID. Okay, and then here I'm taking this value. I would like to take string name equal to name. Then what does it mean? I'm initializing the instance variable. Are you guys clear with my point? So statement. Here I will mention name, and then you can take the double string, and then here you can take with some ID. Okay, and then you can save this one, and then simply can come here, and then here you can pass it. You can create the object demo, and then name, right? So it is throwing the error. At the time you need to pass the arguments. The argument is string. Here you can pass the value is some value is Raju, and then here you can pass with some ID. So directly we are initializing the instance variables by using the constructor. So that is the main purpose of the constructor. Raju and 400. Okay. For example, if I take the normal method, that is the different process. For example, if I will show you with the normal method approach also. For example, if I take the normal method, these two are the instance variables, right? And if I take the normal method is void m1 method, and this is the scope of the normal m1 method. If I want to initialize these instance variables, first I need to take the inputs. How can I take the inputs? First one is the string, right? String a, comma, int some value. Okay, with these parameters I can initialize like this dot, where we have this keyword also on topic, this dot name equal to a. What does it mean? We are initializing the instance variables. Yeah, huh? నువ్వు అనేది ఇవా ఈ నేమ్స్ వేరే ఏమైంది వచ్చు. ఇక్కడ నీ డౌట్ ఏంది నాకు అర్థం కాలేదు. కాదు, ఇది పారామీటర్ ఇన్పుట్ తీసుకుంటావు. ఇప్పుడు నువ్వు చెప్పేది ఏంటంటే ఇలా అంటావు, నేమ్ ఈక్వల్ టు నేమ్. ఓకే ఓకే. అప్పుడు జనరల్లీ దిస్ అనేది కరెంట్ క్లాస్ యొక్క ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ ని మనం ఇనిషియలైజ్ చేయడానికి వాడతాం. ఓకేనా? ఆ, ఓకేనా? Okay, general the process is here you can take ID and then P. Okay. Now this is the instance variables, right? So how will you call the instance variables? You can call the instance variable by using the object demo. Okay. Now we can call d dot the method. Here I am passing some name. The name is some Krishna, and then here you can pass it some number. Huh? Here you can mention source. Sysout statement. Here you can mention with name, and then you can take sysout statement, and you can mention with ID. Okay, and then you can save this one, and then you can try to run. We are getting the runs. We are getting the runs, right? This bit no. This bit no. దీని యొక్క ఆబ్జెక్ట్, దీని యొక్క ఇక్కడ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం కదా, దాని యొక్క వేరియబుల్స్ ఉంటాయి, కాపీ ఆఫ్ ద ఇన్స్టాన్స్ వేరియబుల్స్ తో ఇనిషియలైజ్ దిస్ బిట్. నువ్వు చెప్పేది ఏంటంటే ఇక్కడ నేను తీసుకుంటాను, ఇక్కడ ఐడి తీసుకోవాలా, అప్పుడైనా ఇక్కడ సేమ్ నేమ్ తీసుకుంటావు, నేమ్ తీసుకుంటావు. సో ఇది జనరల్, ఇది జనరల్ ప్రాసెస్. సో ఇది జనరల్ గా కన్స్ట్రక్టర్ లో టైప్స్, కన్స్ట్రక్టర్ అంటే ఏంటి అది. ఓకేనా? So that's it. All guys, please share your names.